Everyone. Okay, so today we are going to start with the previous three classes. We have completed chapter 1, 2, and 3, and today we are going to start with chapter 4. Okay, so chapter 4 is all about concepts of business communication. So in communication, we understand what are the important aspects and how we are going to communicate. Okay, so the basic essence of this chapter is going to be covered in this particular, the entire concept of this particular subject will be covered in this particular chapter. Okay, the concept of business communication. So the first and foremost thing we're going to understand what is communication. Okay, so how it is being come into picture, what are the things that it's important, how things are going to affect communication. Okay, so all these concepts are the basic things which we are going to concentrate on. The first thing is the concept of communication, how it is being derived from. The word communication has been derived from a Latin word called communis, which means to share. Okay, so kindly note this word. They can ask you which word it is being derived from and what does that stand for. Okay, communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. It is expression of facts, opinions, ideas, or feelings. A number of definitions have been given to the term communication. So we have to understand basically what is communication. So communication need not be a written format. It can also be verbal format. It can also be oral format, it can be non-verbal format. So all these things are the different forms of communication. So I need not speak in order to express my thoughts. I can also use signs, I can also use my behavior. That is non-verbal communication. When I nod my head, when I say yes, I understood, okay, I nod myself or nod only my eyes, how I react to, how I smile. So all these concepts will fall in between for the way and communication comes into picture. Okay, so after this we also go with a particular definitions given by certain people, like communication in its simplest form of conveying of information from one person to another. That was given by Hudson. So the simplest way of exchanging of information or telling the information what I have to another person is called as communication. Communication is the transfer of information from one person to another, whether or not it elicits confidence, goods, and autonomy. So here they say the information is being transferred from one person to another person. It doesn't implement whether you are confident enough or not. If I'm able to communicate the information, pass on the exchange, okay, pass on or exchange the information from one person to another person, that is also considered as communication. Communication is the exchange of facts, ideas, opinions, or emotions by two or more persons. So it need not be one person talking to another person. It can be one person talking to a group of people. Okay, it can be any means where facts, ideas, opinions, or emotions are being exchanged. Communication is the sum of all things one person does when he wants to create understanding in the mind of another. It is a bridge of meaning. It involves a systematic and continuous process of telling, listening, and understanding. Alan Lewis. So it's very important where we have to exchange the information. When I'm exchanging the information, the first and foremost thing, I have to sum up all the information together. Only then I have to convey it to people at large. Okay, it is not just understanding the information. It is all about a systematic and a continuous process where I'm telling, I'm listening, and I'm understanding to other people who are trying to express what they want to tell. Okay, then Webster's dictionary, if you remember, I had given you Merriam-Webster only. Okay, the same dictionary, they have stated that communication is the exchange or exchanging information and sorry, communication is the act of exchanging information and understanding from one person to another. Okay, basically the concept of communication is exchange of information, facts, figures, ideas, opinions, or emotions, where it involves one person to another person, or one person to a multiple person, or multiple people talking to one person. Okay, so it can be either ways how communication takes place. The next concept, what we understand after understanding what is communication, is the very important thing, that is business communication. So here what we are going to understand is, in business communication, how communication is effective in running a business. So if you see, let's go with your college setup. Okay, so how, what happens in your college communication? Let's say your principal wants to inform you certain information. Okay, how will they do that? Either they will explain what they want to tell in your assembly. Okay, when you have an assembly or something, they can come and explain and tell you what is going to happen, like this is the particular things that you have to follow, or the timings is being changed, or your dress code is being changed, or the time of your class, that is, it can be 40 minutes, it can be extended to 50 minutes, or it can be extended or it can be reduced to 30 minutes. So like this, when a person in the senior level has to express something to the entire college or the entire institution, they're going to come and express it at in a way where a gathering is coming together, which can be your assembly, or to every class they can send a memo. Okay, if it is a small college, okay, well and good. If it is an institution, let's say that the college has a BCom, the college has BBM, the college has BSc, the college has a BA, okay, and even they have other communication, other related subjects, okay, like diploma, other science related, or architecture, engineering, okay. When they have all these things provided in their university, the amount of information which has to be communicated will be in different forms. Okay, the same way, if you see in business communication also, it is very very important, where the information is not being just given by a top level organization to anybody and everybody. Let's say, let's take it for example, like what now Modi is doing. Okay, so when he wants to communicate some things, initially he took up the charge during the month of March. He said we are going to implement a nationwide lockdown. Okay, but after May, what he did, he told it is respective state which has to take control. So I'm going to designate it to the respective states, and they are going to take control over their states, and they will ensure that proper control is being implemented. The same way, if you see, even in an organization, let's speak about, not speak about small organization, but about large organizations. So let's think about something like Reliance. Okay, Reliance has different divisions. So they are into petroleum, they are into textiles, they are into telecommunication, then petroleum, real estate, or whatever they are into. Okay, so they have multiple departments or multiple segments, industrial segments, which they concentrate into. Okay, so when they concentrate into multiple segments, it becomes important for the board of directors. So board of directors are the people who are going to control the organization. Okay, so the board of directors, it becomes important for which department or which industrial segment they have to give a particular information. Might be the information what they give will be very much relevant to telecommunication segment, but it will not be relevant to petroleum segment, or rather to like textile segment. So they have different segments. They have to understand which segment they have to give particular information. Okay, that is much more important when I'm doing something as business communication. So business communication can also be considered as corporate communication, where information has to be expressed from the company, that is top level, middle level, lower level. So how they communicate between these different departments, and apart from this, this is internal organization, that is top, middle, lower. Then after this, they have to communicate with external organization. So the external part of the organization will be your government departments, your stakeholders, that is your shareholders, your suppliers, your customers. Okay, so all these people will be connected with the company. So the company has to have an effective business communication method, where they are concentrating for internal organization as well as external organization. The best thing that I can tell you where you can relate will be your college environment. So I told you, if there is any internal information which has to be given by your principal, they will give it in your assembly memos or something. Let's say your college is hosting a fest, okay, or you're having an inter college or interstate fest, okay. If that is the case, apart from your college information, but you will take a lot of efforts, that is your principal, the departments, or whoever is in the fest management team or people like this, you people will take a lot of efforts in advertising these banners or posters or providing the information. You can either go for every college will be given these banners or posters to be put across in their notice board, or you will go with radio advertisements, or all these things you will do because you want sponsors first and foremost, and after that you want participants. Okay, why companies will do this or colleges will do this? Because they want to have a proper marketing strategy, and the second one, they are providing a platform for their students to understand how to communicate in this business world. Okay, so all these things start from your college. Okay, the same thing is being implemented in your corporate level in a big and a very professional way. That's it. So I'll just try to relate with your college so it is easier for you to understand where you're getting lost. Okay, like if any information additionally is required, how I can express it. Right. So the next here we understand is what are the basic things that comes into business communication. When one communicates to transfer some to transact some commercial activities, that is providing goods or services with the intention of generating profit. Here communication happens basically with the intention of generating profit. Every communication that happens in an organization will happen with the intention that they are giving proper content or proper information, and this information is being utilized for the company to have a better image in order to gain better profits in the market. Okay, this is the basic content of generating profits. Then, according to Scott, administrative communication is a process which involves the transmission and accurate replication of ideas ensured by feedback for the purpose of eliciting action which will accomplish organization goals. So the next thing what they say in business communication is kindly ensure it's a two-way process. So once the information is passed from me to another person, ensure I get the feedback from them. So once I get a feedback, it becomes easier for me to attain the organization goals. So let's say the company is coming up with a target of 1,000 sales of 1,000 cars, okay, in a particular region. Let's say in south of Karnataka, south of India, they want to come across and say in southern India we want 1,000 cars to be sold. In northern India, 1,500 cars to be sold. Western and eastern part, 1,000 and 1,500 respectively. So when they give a target, it becomes easier when I communicate with my sales team and tell them what is the hurdles that they are facing, what are the more effective tools or measures that they want. Okay, when I give answers to all these questions, it becomes easier for them to answer what I require. Okay, so all these things are very important to ensure that I take effective measures in communication. It shouldn't be a one-way process, it needs to be a two-way process in order to achieve my organization goals at the end. Okay, what are the basic features of communication? So after this we are going to understand what are the features, what are the importance. Okay, all these concepts we will start understanding in this. The first one what comes into picture is what are the features of communication. The first important thing is communication is essentially a two-way process. That's what I give you. I gave you an example that communication always needs to be a two-way process where I'm providing certain information and the information is being accepted by my lower teams or my colleagues or people who are in my same level, and after that they are going to give me a feedback. Okay, the feedback has to be taken for it to be a successful communication. If communication is not being effective, then it will not be a successful method. This becomes very important for you as a CS because you are a person who's going to communicate with the shareholders. Okay, so whatever respective things that we have internally, we will be communicating with the board of directors, and the second thing, we will be communicating with our shareholders. So information what we collect from our shareholders needs to be passed on to the uh, board of directors, and from board of directors whatever information we gather, that information has to be shared on to my shareholders. Okay, so this passing of information will happen through a company secretary. That's the perspective why we are incorporating something called as basics in business communication. So what are the things that you have to brush up, and what are the things that you have to inculcate and practice, okay, from the beginning of starting your career as a CS. Okay, the second one is communication is an ongoing process. So in every organization and every levels of organization, communication is very, very important. Kindly ensure that it's not restricted only to the manager or top level people, or it is looking towards professional or result oriented rather it is a professional or a result oriented organization. We have to ensure communication is always being persuasive and competent. Okay, in that way we are going to inculcate an method of communication in an organization which will be effective, when rather let it be a top level management communicating with a lower level, or lower level rather communicating it with a top level. Okay, there shouldn't be any barriers. This way what happens is, if there is any hurdles, or lower level management people identify any faults, or any mistakes that's happening in the organization, it will be easier for them to identify and update it to the top level management. And top level management, if they identify if something is required by the lower level management, it will be easier for us to implement and tell them, kindly follow these perspectives, kindly follow these methods. Okay, so it will be easier for us if we keep it as an ongoing process, and don't have it in a particular time or a particular interval, that is weekly once we are gonna come and communicate with you, or only during this time, that is in this particular quarter you're going to come and explain us what is your concerns, or problems that you're having. Okay, so all these things are not being provided, but rather we are trying to reduce this barriers what we have in communication. The next concept what we come into picture is, communication consists not only of facts but also ideas and emotions. I already told you that communication will not just be verbal or written. Okay, it can either be it can also be a method where we have oral communications and also non-verbal communication. That is, I have certain feelings, or I have certain emotions. Okay, I want to express that to my manager. Okay, or I want to tell it to my reporting people, or my reporting people have certain concerns, they are not happy with me, or the procedure what is being followed by a particular department, people are not really happy about that. The top level management want to change that particular idea, or the method in which a particular practice is being done. If they want to do this, then they can go ahead and express these ideas or thoughts. Okay, rather than not keeping it for themselves, or constraining certain thoughts or ideas. When things develop, only then new thoughts will develop, and it will become easier for us to implement these ideas. So first and foremost, we have to ensure that we are not restricting the passing of information within an organization. Then communication is a dynamic process. That is, in a corporate, today corporates are not no more like a thing where a top level management will instruct it to the lower level management and it's going to stop. No, it's nothing like that. Today everybody will express, that is from top level to lower level to middle level to higher level. It can go in any particular way. So when information is being changed, this is going to change not just the pattern of information, but the pattern of the entire organization. That is how the participants are involving in the communication method, and how the environment of the company will change by and large in an dynamic way. That is, the company will become effective, the company will become more productive. So all these things matter a lot. So when you are being as a CS, you have to ensure that whatever concerns are being there, it's being reported to the top level management, and whatever top level management inputs us, that is being reported to the shareholders in the external environment, within the environment respective departments. Why? Because you're not just going to be a company secretary, but you're also going to be as a compliance officer, ensuring that all the respective acts applicable to a company are being taken care of, not just company law, but also other respective acts, whether it's happening properly or not. Okay. In this perspective, it becomes important for us to have a better communication system. Then communication is a goal oriented process. So always we have to ensure the information what is being sent by the receiver is being received by the receiver, that is what is being sent by the sender is being received by the receiver in the exact sense. Okay. If there is any disturbance or vague intentions or anything that goes wrong, then it is entirely difficult, and the goal what the company wants to reach, okay, the organization goals, that can't be reached within time. So this becomes very important when I'm doing a communication or implementing a communication process in an organization. I have to ensure it's being goal oriented. Okay. And after that, communication is an interdisciplinary science. So we can't say communication is just corporate method. Here, communication is also a method where knowledge is being shared by it involves several sciences. Like we have anthropology, that is the study of body language. So you have the way you react to a particular information. Like if you see in your college, you would have reacted by when a chapter is being taken by a faculty in your physical class, you nod your head or you take down notes, or if there is any doubts, you point out and you ask them. Okay, so it is a way in which you react. Okay, if you're satisfied, you react by nodding your head. If you're not satisfied, you can say, no, I'm not understanding, or you can show a blank face. So that is a way of communication. The second one is psychology, that is a study of persuasion, perception, and attitudes. So how you react to it over a period of time, whether you are happy or whether you're not contented. Okay, so all these contents, which the way you express, not just during the communication but after the class is being conducted, so that also comes into picture. Then sociology and political science, study of voting behavior, whether the technology, okay, in your college, let's say there is an election going on, or there is a president election, or a teacher is being changed, or something like this happens, a principal or vice principal is being elected, so certain people will come and vote for this. So these things will also be considered as a method of communication, where they are expressing their thoughts, might be not in a oral way or not in an expressive way, but still they are coming and expressing whether they are happy going with a new person, or they want an existing person, or they want uh, a person who is not competing, but still they want them to be in the managerial level, or let's say in your college administrative level. Okay, so if you want to do this, that also comes into picture. So communication is not basically constrained just to transfer of information or knowledge, but it is also considered as different sciences coming in together in order to have a better and a effective way of ensuring that your goals or perspectives are being reached with. Okay, so then we go with importance of communication. So in the same thing, just like your college, let's say you have an organization, so kindly try to replicate your college environment, considering that to be a corporate environment. So if I get into a corporate environment, what are the important things that I have to consider when a communication is happening in an organization? Okay, so when a communication is happening in an organization, there are various things that I have to consider with. So let's say I would rather put it as a private limited company and a public limited company. So a private limited company will have small number of people. Let's say we have 50 people in an organization in a private limited company. But when we go with a public limited company, they will be close to 5 lakh people, or 5 crore people. Okay. So the number of people are gonna increase. Okay. The same way, you have a small class. Within your class, how you communicate. Within the entire university, how communication is being passed. Okay, so the method of communication can't be the same for a a strength of 50 and a strength of 5 lakh or 5 crore. The communication has to be in a different way, in a very effective and a productive way. The same way, if I consider, let's go with the concepts what's being very important in business communication or corporate communication. The first and foremost thing is I have to ensure the size of the increase in size. So when my operations are increasing, let's say beginning I was just a company with 50 people, slowly I increased to 5,000 people, then I increased to 50,000 people, today I am 1 lakh, and later I am growing to 5 lakh people. Okay, so when my organization is growing into a bigger number, then it becomes important for me to ensure what is the method that I'm implementing in order to communicate with those people. Might be when I had 50, I could have done one on one, or I could have gone and spoken to each individual, expressed what they think and what is happening, and I could have spoken to them individually and taken the feedback. But when the number came to 500, it was relatively difficult. I would have made small groups. Okay, group of 50 people, 10 groups, go talk to them. When it became a group of 5,000, I could have rather made it as 500 people in one team, go talk to them, collect the information. Then it became 50,000, might be 5,000 people in one group, have 10 groups, make time, go talk to them, collect the information. So it becomes very important for us to understand the increase in size. Once my organization is growing, I have to know how I have to communicate with my team members or employees in the organization, that is internally. And externally, they are going to be definitely when my organization is growing, even my suppliers, customers, all these people will be growing parallelly. So how I'm going to interact with them and get the information and get the outputs, like targets, profits, everything being achieved. So for this perspective, increase in size becomes very important. Then growing specialization. So before we didn't have, might be when I had 50 people, I didn't have specialized departments. But when I go with, let's say, 5 lakh people in my organization, I will have certain departments being specialized. So just like in your college, so when we had a smaller strength of students, they wouldn't have any specialization. But when they made it into a proper university or an institution, they will start concentrating on the specialization. So they want to be specialized in commerce, they want to be specialized in engineering department, they want to be specialized in arts department. Okay, so they're concentrating on specialization. The same way, when I build an organization also, I'm going to concentrate on various specializations. Like sales department should have particular technology in order to concentrate. My research and development should have particular technology where I'm very competent, and my product is very specialized, and it is more superior in the market. Why we have to do all these things? In order to ensure I'm being a market leader, and my product has a proper demand, and I'm creating a better brand value. Okay, for doing all these things, it becomes very important for me to ensure how I am coping with my growth, and in my growth I'm not leaving out anything called as specialization. Okay, I have been specialized in every department, either it is sales, production, technology, whatever it comes, finance, management. So all these concepts, I try to ensure that we have proper specialization in these departments once I start increasing my size. Then we have cutthroat competition. The next thing what comes into picture is with the concept of privatization, liberalization, and globalization. Today, the market is not restricted just to the place where you are working. Okay, might be your raw materials are coming from, let's say, North India. Your production is happening in the central part of India, but your major sales is happening in Eastern India and North India. But a particular raw material is coming from South India. Okay, and your unit expansion is happening in Western India. Okay, but let's say a major part, like 50% of the production what I do is being exported to a particular country. Okay, when I have all these concepts coming into picture, communication is very important for me to understand how I have to communicate with various teams, various countries, various suppliers. All these things is very important because each person's method of communication will be different. Okay, I have to consider all these concepts, and only then I have to ensure I'm not losing out on my business. So communication becomes very, very important. It can also be in the form of advertisements, the personal contacts what I have, the publicity what I'm trying to do, okay, the way I'm trying to market my product. So all these things become very important. And where I'm advertising, might be I told you my demand for the product is more in North India and Eastern India. If that is the case, where I'm providing, am I providing proper marketing, using proper marketing strategy in a particular country where there is good demand, okay, where there is no demand, who is my competitor, what is the other method what I can use, how I can invade this particular market, okay, and get better sales, better profits and all these things. For this perspective, it becomes I have to ensure that cutthroat competition is being studied, and after that proper technology, like proper methods are being implemented to ensure I communicate the information in the right way to the right person, okay. Then we have trade union movements. So today, not just my external world, my internal organization is also very, very important. With the growth of employees in my organization, it becomes easier. And today, even the government allows that formation of trade unions are legal organizations. So once I fall into the for this particular category, let's say I'm running an organization or a group of people. Okay, we are running an organization. So in our organization, we have close to 5 lakh employees. When 5 lakh employees come into picture, trade unions come into picture. So when trade unions come into picture, we have to ensure every requirement for them, like PF, ESI, medical, proper working hours, their overloads, that is overtime, what they work, what is the payment for overtime, okay. So all these things, whatever is applicable as per government standards, we have to comply. If it's not being complied, then it becomes very tough for an organization to run, because these employees through a trade union will ask a company to implement certain things, okay. So once it's not being implemented, they can go to the court of law, and the operations of the company will stop, okay. For this perspective, I have to ensure internally my organization is strong. For this, I have to ensure all the requirements of my employees are being taken care of, and trade union people, that is the employees of the organization, are taken care of in a very better and a comfortable way. Otherwise, they'll become a very strong and a powerful tool that will go against an organization. Next is the same concept, human relationships. Even for this, we should have a very good communication with our employees and make them in today. They are also being participated in the decision making of an organization. So I have to ensure they are participating in the decision making methods. There is an interactive way, and I'm giving proper development skills, whatever is required for them to do the work what is being assigned to them. For this, human relation plays an important role, and communication is very important. The way I communicate with my employees, okay. Then public relations. Public relations comes with the external organization, that is not internal. In the outer world, how I communicate with my business world. My business world will have my suppliers, my customers, my shareholders, the government entities, okay, like PF department, income tax department, labor department. So all these people will be considered as my external world, okay. So all these people, how they are gonna see me as an organization. So for this perspective, communication plays a very important role for me to have an image as a company, okay, and build this image. Once an image is being built, it becomes easier for me to communicate with this particular entities, whoever are there in the external way. Then personal asset. So communication is always a personal asset, be it you're being a company secretary, or you're being a company secretary plus a manager, or a compliance officer, or you become just a manager of, or a finance manager, whoever, whichever, a small person also, considering from a team leader, employee, for everybody, communication is very, very important. The way they communicate, the way they deliver speeches, write documents, conduct interviews, or the way they talk, okay, the way they pronounce, the way they use a vocabulary, the way they try to convince another person, okay. So all these things will be very important in understanding that communication is the basic tool where I'm creating it as a personal asset for myself, and it is being used in a long run, okay, in an effective way for the organizations. So all these things will come into picture for Importance of communication in a business or a corporate world. Okay. The next thing what we are going to cover is communication process. So how a communication process is going to take place. So here we are going to understand how this cycle basically works. If you see this particular circle, it is basically like this. So first there is going to be a sender, a person who is going to, just a minute. There is basically going to be a sender. So who is a sender? The person who has an idea. Okay, let's say I'll explain it with two examples. The first one, let's say it's in your college. Okay, your college is gonna implement a change in time. Okay, let's say your college previously was 9 to 2:30. Now they want to change it to 9:15 to 3:15. Okay, if this is the message, what will happen? The person who is a sender will be head of the institution. Okay, so that will be your principal. So what they'll do, they will construct a message. They will construct a message and say, the timings of the college is going to be changed. It's going to be 9:15 to 3:15 going forward from July 1st. Okay, this is the message what they want to convey. Here, what they will do, they will encode it in a particular way. Here, encoding will be, might be they want to do it in a verbal communication way, or they want to do it in a written format, and then they want to paste it in the notice board. Or they want to tell it in the assembly. After that, they want to send an individual notice in the notice to the like memo to the classrooms, and after that, they also want to post it in the notice board. So whichever ways they want, they can encode the message. Okay, here we are going with three methods. One is she's going to address you in the assembly, then after that she's going to post one notice, and after that they are going to send a memo to each class. Okay, after this it's going to be receivers. So who are the receivers? It's going to be the teachers and students. Okay, so for the receivers we are going to send this message. So who is the sender? It is going to be the principal, and the receivers are going to be the students. Here, decoding is what students and teachers have to understand, that the classes are going to start from 9:15 and end from 3:15, end at 3:15, and this is going to be implemented from July 1st. Okay, then after this encoding, what happens? The message is being received by the receiver. Okay, the same content what the sender want to send, the same is being received by the receiver. Once this has happened, we are going to have a feedback. So who's going to give the feedback? The feedback is going to be given by the students and the faculties to the sender. So who is the sender? The principal. Okay, so this is a method which is being used for communication process. That is, a sender will identify what is the message. After that, they will encode. Encode is the method in what they want to convey to the receiver. Then there will be a receiver. The receiver will decode the message. That is, they will read the message, and once the message is being read or understood, the entire message is going to be conceived by them. Okay, after that, if they want any additional clarity or if they have any doubts, they're going to go for a feedback. Okay, the feedback will be given to the, yes, we all are happy, no, we are not happy with this, we are okay on the weekdays but not on the weekend, that is on a Saturday, we want certain reduction in time. Okay, you can do whatever you want. So that's going to be a feedback. This is a entire process of communication with respect to your college. Let's say the same is being implemented in an organization. uh, the top level management decides that the target for the company, the target, let's say a car company again, the target for the car company is going to be sales of 5,000 cars. Okay, so this message has to be informed to the production department, the purchase department, the purchase department, the production department, then to the sales department. Okay, sales is also marketing department. So all these people have to be informed. Why? Because in purchase they have to purchase what is required for 5,000 cars. In production they have to be prepared to produce 5,000 cars and decide which quarter how many cars is going to be produced. Then the sales team has to be ready, which quarter how much of sales should happen, and then the marketing team will be given with their targets, how much they have to achieve. Okay, this is very important in business communication. The same way, if I go with this, The sender is going to be my top level management. Then the message is going to be passed across, that is 5,000 cars is going to be sold. Then we'll start encoding. In this encoding, what I will do, I will encode it to 4 different departments: purchase, production, sales, marketing. Okay, then it will go to my receiver, that is different departments. Then it will be encoded by them. They will understand what is given in the message, and the message will be perceived by each department. Once the message is being perceived, then let's say production department might say, we might have to have overtime working of so many hours. Okay, the employees have to do so many hours of overtime. Or the sales department might say, a sales in particular region is not possible because to particular natural calamity or something. Okay, like Kolkata or Mumbai or something. Okay, they have a natural calamity. Or purchase department can say, we are not having the raw material inputted within time. Okay, so all these are the feedback which will be given to the top level management. So top level management will reanalyze all these concepts, and after that, after reanalyzing, they will give the relevant update what is being required. So they will revise their decisions and see how we can correct and ensure that 5,000 cars are being produced and marketed in that particular year. Okay, so this is the way an organization or any place, okay, that you get into, the method of communication will be same. That is sender, message, encoding, receiver, decode, message, then it will be a feedback. Okay, so after this, we are going to start with the concept of principles for effective communication. Effective communication depends mainly on three things: understandable message, credibility of the sender, and how the message is affecting the receiver. So, three basic things that is very, very important in communication is understandable message. The message what I want to send should ensure that I'm not just me as the person who is understanding, it should also be understood by the receiver. Okay, let's say my receivers are different people of different background. Okay, it will not be one particular person, it can be different people, and their method of understanding, their method of making them understand will be different. Okay, for this perspective, I have to ensure how they have to be communicated with. The way I speak to a middle level management will be different, the way I speak to my lower level management will be different, because there I have to tell them how a machinery has to be operated, how technical inputs are required, or how production has to happen. Okay, the basic skills what they require, I have to explain them. So that is the way I'm going to talk to my lower level management. But when it comes to my middle level management, that's not the way. Might be I might tell them, this is the production that I require, this is the team that is required, go ahead and ensure this particular production is happening, particular um, method is being conveyed. Okay, so all these things become easier when I give it in an understandable way for different levels of management. Then it is the credibility of the sender. Credibility of the sender will be how a sender is passing across the information. So over a period of time, if I'm expressing my thoughts and inputs and feedback in a very clear and a understandable way, then it becomes a whatever information is sent across from that particular sender. Let's say Mr. A is a person who will give information in a very clear and a crisp way. Okay, but there is Mr. B who will give information but not entire information. Certain information is not being provided. He provides only 75% of the information. For the remaining 25% of the information, it has to go in the manner of feedback. Okay, every time there needs to be a feedback, we need to ask, then we have to take the information. So it becomes difficult. So I have to gain certain things called as credibility, where over a period of time it becomes easier for me to easier for my receivers. Okay, whatever information comes from particular Mr. A, it becomes easier for them to understand. When it is coming from Mr. B, they will always be with the understanding, this particular person we will not understand. Okay, so just like your faculty, this particular teacher teaches, it becomes easier for me, this particular teacher teaches, it's not easier for me. Okay, like this it becomes a difficult way or an easier way, it depends. Then how the message is affecting the receiver, whether the receiver is taking it in the exact way which is being conveyed by the sender, or is he interpreting something with his own personal experience and trying to interpret and come with a new or a different answer. Okay, that also becomes very, very important. So the message what is being conveyed, the way a sender receives the message and the way the receiver understands the message becomes very, very important in effective communication. Here, we understand the next things, that is the 7 C's of effective communication. So what are the 7 things that becomes important in effective communication? The first, we'll just go with the same concepts, that is the same as explained here. Okay. Okay, that is clarity of expressions, completeness of information, conciseness of message, concreteness in presentation, courtesy towards recipient, correctness correctness of facts, and consideration for receiver. Okay, this is considered as 7 C's of communication. The first thing what we're going to start is principle of clarity. So what becomes important in terms of clarity? That is picking out the brief, acquainted, and also effortless words and phrases. So here, the first and most important thing is I have to understand who is going to be my receiver. After I understand who is going to be receiver, I have to, the information what I'm going to send needs to be brief. I need not give too much of paragraph writing or something like that. I just give it in 4 bullet points or 5 bullet points. Okay, then it should be acquainted, that is 100% information should be provided, and I shouldn't use high end vocabulary, that is high end words or something like that. A simple word which is being understood by the um, students need, or students or employees, which is being used, that is the words which I'm going to use. Okay, picking out conversational words and phrases rather than poetic types. So here I'm going to use words which is going to be conversational, that is I'm going to speak, the other person is also going to speak. Okay, if that is the way, then it becomes easier for us to have a better conversation between the different levels of management, internal and external environment, and it becomes easier for us to convey the message and ensure the final organization goal is being reached. Uh, Constructing successful paragraphs and also grammatic construction matters a lot. Let's say I have to give a notice, or I have to give a writing to a government department, or I have to give a legal petition or something like this. Then I have to ensure how I have to do a writing. There, the writing will not just be pertinent to providing information, but it will also be with respect to the way the information is being expressed, the way it is being expressed. Okay, all these things become very, very important. Then supplying illustrations, cases along with visual supports while appealing. So it becomes important for me when I'm giving certain instructions. Might be if you become a CS, you will also be appearing in front of the tribunals, that is NCLT and respective tribunals, as a corporate lawyer. So when I'm doing this, it becomes easier for me when I'm going for my particular case, okay, for hearing or something. There I will say, this is also a particular case which has come across to me. So this is a particular judgment given in that case. So can we take this case as an illustration and use the same case illustrations for this case also? Because the points are similar. Whatever has happened in this particular case A is the same in case of case B also. Can we use these cases? Okay. This is also a method which can be used. Then staying away from techie words and phrases and also jargons. So if I'm talking from the top level management, I have to ensure I'm not using any technical words which affect only which is being understood only by, let's say, sales department, or which is being understood only by production department, or by purchase department, or research and development department. I shouldn't use any technical words. As much as possible, the information what is being sent across, I have to ensure it is simple and being understood by everybody in the organization. Okay, that's important for me. Then we go with the second principle, that is principle of completeness of the information. That is, complete communication develops and enhances reputation of an organization. So the basic important thing what I have to understand is, when I'm giving certain thing as communication, kindly ensure all the information what I know is being passed across to the receiver. Okay, the receiver should understand the message the way I tried to convey the message. Only then it will become easier for us to ensure that the information is passed on 100%, and it becomes easier for us to achieve the organization goals. We are not having backlogs, we are not having any miscommunication, misinterpretation of information. Okay, to avoid all these things, we have to ensure complete information is being passed on to the other receiver who is in the other end. Moreover, they are cost savings as no crucial information is missing and no additional cost is incurred in conveying extra messages if the communication is incomplete. The most important thing after this will be 100% information is being passed. It becomes easier for me as a sender, okay? Because the receiver is not coming out with constant feedbacks. That is, he's coming with so many doubts, queries. So what is happening? There is an cost involved, that is time is being involved. Instead of going for production in that particular time, he's coming and talking to me repeatedly, asking clarifications and doubts. In this, what's happening? 3-4 days is being lost. In 3-4 days, let's say we could have produced one 4 or 5 cars or 6 cars or 10 cars. Okay, that's being lost. To ensure that there is no mistakes happening in this particular way, and additional cost is not being incurred, for this perspective, it's very good that you give 100% of information in a way it is being understood by the receiver. A complete communication always gives additional information whenever required. It leaves no questions in the mind of the receiver. So when information is being sent from me to the sender, okay, when additional information is required, immediately when I start responding to it, and it makes sure that the receiver gets entire information and there is no doubts in his mind, it becomes easier for us to ensure that entire information is being passed across. Complete communication helps in better decision making by the audience, readers, receiver of the message, as they all desire desired and crucial information. So it becomes easier for me when I pass on the information as a sender. Let it be my receiver is a audience or a reader or a receiver of certain information. If he gets the entire information, then it becomes easier for him to make better decisions. It persuades the audience to do what the sender is trying to intend. Okay, the sender is asking them to do a particular work. Okay, it helps the audience to do that particular work, the receiver to do that particular work. Then, principle of conciseness. So what happens in conciseness? I have to be crisp and clear. I shouldn't keep dragging the information. So it should be crisp and clear so it's easier for the receiver to understand. What happens by being concise? The first and foremost thing is it is both time saving as well as cost saving. So rather than giving multiple paragraphs or something, I can give it in bullet points. It becomes easier for them and it is cost saving for me. It underlines and highlights the main message as it avoids unnecessary and needless words. So the information what I want to express, it becomes easier for me, and I'm not using excessive words or needless words in explaining the information. I'm just giving what is important, might be like your textbook. Okay, what is important in that I'm highlighting what is important, so it's easier for you to read this and understand it. Okay, might be when you get your own textbooks, it will be easier for you to highlight the same concepts and start studying. So in a way, it is avoiding excessive and needless words, and we are just highlighting the main contents. Concise communication provides short and essential messages in limited words to the audience. So I'm not using excessive words and over flooding them with information. I'm giving limited words. Concise message is more appealing and comprehensible to the audience. When I give less contents in the bullet points, then it becomes easier for them to grasp and retain it for a longer time. Then, concise message is not repetitive in nature. The message, what I'm trying to tell in bullet points, it will not be repeated over and again. It will just be one time hit. Okay, so once I give the information, it will be clear for them. Then, principle of concreteness. In concreteness, what I'm going to concentrate is it is supported with specific facts and figures. So let's say I have to give a sales report. When I'm giving a sales report, it becomes easier for me when I give a sales report for a particular period. Okay, let's say for a quarter, Jan, February, March. In this, I'm going to say in the month of January how much of sales happened and in which region. I can divide it into 4 regions: north, south, east, west. Okay, north, south, east, west. What happened? in January, northwest, south, east, what happened in February, and what happened in March. Okay, I can give it in the form of a bar graph or something like this. It becomes easier for the interpreter rather than going for return words. Okay, it makes use of words that are clear and that build the repetition. So what happens over a period of time, if you follow a particular pattern and give the information in the same pattern, it becomes easier for you to build reputation in the organization. So okay, in CS, what do we do in this particular way? The way what we present is board minutes or AGM minutes. These are the documents which you write. Okay, you present and give it to the management. And the second thing is you prepare notice calling for AGMs, that is members meeting and all these things. When we do all these things, it becomes easier for us when we start developing a writing method. Okay, and we present information in a clear and crisp way, so even the board of directors understand internally, and externally the members understand the information. Okay, concrete messages are not misinterpreted, so the chances of missing out the information or the receiver not understanding the information will not be too high. Okay, it will be relatively less. Then you have principle of courtesy. Courtesy implies taking into consideration both viewpoints as well as feelings of the receivers of the messenger. So here what we are doing, we are not just giving the information, but we are also understanding what is the viewpoint of the receiver. Okay, whether the receiver is understanding in the perspective what we are trying to express, what is their feelings, what is their emotions involved. Okay, that is also being considered. Then you have courtesy message is positive and focused at the audience. So when I'm giving certain importance to the audience, okay, and I am trying to create a positive feedback on the receiver's mind, okay, that's where I'm trying to be more courteous. Then it makes use of terms showing respect for the receiver of the message. So here I'm thinking what is the mindset of a receiver. Based on his mindset, I'm trying to explain the concepts. So if you see, I'm trying to explain it by giving examples of your college. Okay, why? Because if I relate a college environment to an organization environment, it becomes easy for you to understand or interpret this information and keep it for a longer time. Okay, this sentence means this is what it is. Courtesy means, okay, this is courtesy. This is completeness means this is completeness. Okay, like that you try to understand these concepts. It is not biased, that is, the sender is not concentrating only on giving the information, but he is concentrating how the receiver will also understand this message. For this perspective, it is a two-way process and it's not being biased. Okay, then you have the sixth principle, that is principle of correctness. The information or the message what I'm trying to convey is exact, correct, and well timed. It is given at the timing when it is required. Then if the communication is correct, it boosts up the confidence level. Correct message has greater impact on the audience and receiver. So the information what I give, if it is complete and 100%, it will have a very positive impact on the audience and the readers. Then it checks for the precision and accurateness of facts and figures used in the message. The information what I give will have facts, figures, numbers, all these things. Okay, when I give a complete information of all the numbers, figures, facts, timings, all these things, it gives a complete perception in the mind of the audience. Then it makes use of appropriate and correct language in the message. So when I'm using a better and a simple language to explain what I'm being doing, then it becomes easier for us to understand whether it is correct and appropriate. Okay. Um, consideration for receiver. So the next step is stepping into the shoes of others. Kindly, we have to ensure that it is not an I approach. What is I approach and you approach? Okay, in I approach, what happens is I know this information. I have drafted this mail. Okay, the mail what I have drafted is understood by me in a right way. Okay, whatever I wanted to express is being expressed in this mail. Okay, so when I send it across, what happens? The receiver has to understand in the way I have written. Okay, if the receiver is not understanding in the way I have written, then my entire efforts, what I've put across in sending this information, will be failed. Okay, for this perspective, it is very important that when an information is being sent across from me, I should not just consider the information sending from me. Okay, I should also consider what is my receiver, who are my audience, are they understanding or not? Okay, that becomes very important for us in communication. Okay, so I have to understand whether my students whom I'm teaching now, how they will understand. So for them to understand, how simply I can put across the words, what are the best examples we can give? Okay, so if I give these examples, it will be easier for them to understand, easier for them to interpret. Okay, so that becomes very important for me when I'm keeping my students in mind and writing a mail or expressing a mail or giving a speech or giving certain information. It is called as you approach. So the same approach needs to be applied even in my corporate world. So there, what will I do? Let my senders be middle level employees or lower level employees or my outside external organization communication. So whoever I'm trying to express this information, I'm going to keep them in my mind, and based on their requirement, I'm going to start writing my message or drafting my message or giving my speech. Okay, this is called as you approach. I'm thinking about the receiver, and based on them, I'm preparing my document. Okay, whatever communication means I'm using, written, oral, verbal, non-verbal, whatever I'm using, I'm considering my receiver. Based on them, I'm going to start drafting my message. That's called as you approach. Okay, then emphasize with the audience and exhibit interest in the audience. This will stimulate an approach, a positive reaction for the audience. So what I'm doing is, when I consider my receiver as an important person and then start drafting this information, it becomes easier for me to create a positive reaction or positive approach in them. Okay, then after this, show optimism towards your audience. Emphasize on what is possible rather than what is impossible. Lay stress on positive words such as jovial, committed, thanks, warm, healthy, help. Okay, so it becomes easier for you when you're being a passive speaker and being polite and expressing what all doubts they have in a possible way, and rather creating it as an impossible barrier. Okay, don't have that, then it becomes easier for you. So always keep this warmth and courtesy when you're giving an expression. So I'll just explain what we did now. So we have done 7 C's of communication, that is principle of clarity, principle of completeness, principle of conciseness, keeping concise information, principle of concreteness, then principle of courtesy, principle of correctness, and principle of consideration. Okay, so all these things we have clarified and explained in 7 C's of communication. So we covered features of communication, importance of business communication, followed by 7 C's of communication. So the next concept what we are going to start is, apart from this particular principles, there are also other particular guidelines. Along with these principles, we have to follow particular guidelines also. So what are those guidelines to ensure that our communication is going to be much more or still more effective? So the next things will be, choose the right means and mode of communication. That is, before I start with communication, I have to ensure what is the method of communication that I have to start with. For that, I have to understand what is the organization in which I work for, what is the size of the organization, what is the policy being used in the organization, what is the cost involved in giving this message. So let's say if it is an advertisement, there will be advertising marketing cost. If it is giving information to all departments, let's say if I'm working for Reliance Industries, and Reliance Industry has different industrial segments, so I have to give it for all industrial segments, what is the cost involved, what is the method I'm going to use, okay, what is the way I'm going to express it to all the members, all the shareholders, all the employees. Okay, so what is the method being involved, so relative cost involved I have to study. What is the urgency, whether the information has to be sent across immediately, or whether it is a medium urgent thing, or it is a I can delay the message. Okay, I can send it across slowly also. I have to understand the urgency. And what is the distance of the message that's going to be conveyed, that is whether it is within the city where I'm conveying, or whether it is cross-border communication where I'm in India, I have to communicate with somebody in US, the timelines, what's being involved. If the timeline is involved, whether it is an urgent message, whether I have to call them, now it will be midnight for them. So can I call them? Or whether I have to send a message and immediately what is the morning time, I have to give them a call and update them. Okay. So I have to understand what is the distance being involved. Then resources available. Do I have internet connection? Do they have mobile networks? If I call them on message, call them or give them a WhatsApp message, will they receive it? Okay. So all those things become important. Then confidentiality of the message. So certain information can't be sent in WhatsApp. So it needs to be sent through mail. Okay. So I have to understand what is the confidentiality. Based on that, I have to ensure which method I'm using. Okay. If mails or something, it will be encrypted. If it is not a mail and a WhatsApp message, it will not be encrypted and can be interpreted by any other person. Then safety of the information which is being sent along with the security. Necessity for official records of the communication. So official records will be, should I keep track of this? Like we will have letter number, record number, or memo number. If you see in your college, all your memos will come in a book. Okay. Why they keep it in a book? So that no sheet is being lost. And all the memos will be numbered. Memo number one for your college academic year 2021. Memo number two for academic year 2021. Okay. Like this, you will have numbering. The same way, if I have to send across information in an organization, I have to ensure what is the method I'm going to use and why this is important. If any information is sent from one employee to another employee, if some wrong things happen or something like that, then we have to track where the information was being misinterpreted. Okay, for that it becomes important for us to create official records. Then the recipient, who is the receiver, based on them I have to send it. Then the resources available. Okay, what are the resources available to me? Based on that, how I can send across the information, whether I have internet connection or there is certain cyclones and all these things happening, I don't have electricity supply or something, then what is the other alternative method I can use? Okay, so all these things will be important for us. Then this is with choose the right means and modes. Then you have own your messages. Take responsibility for what you say. So the next important thing will be whatever message you are trying to convey as a sender, kindly ensure you're sending it with complete understanding. You can't blame another person saying that this person has given me this information. Based on them, I have passed across the information, okay, to multiple receivers. So let's say you as a company secretary have to send across a notice to all the members. Let's say the company has 1,000 members. Before sending across the message, you have to do detailed study and only then you have to send across the message to members. Okay. If I'm sending across the message to members, the document, what it will show is it is being sent by the company secretary. Okay. If there is any mistake in this particular notice, then I have to take ownership and say, yes, I have done a mistake. I can't say it was given by finance department, it was given by marketing department, so I did this, that, this and all. We can't give a blaming factor. We have to take the ownership for the message what is being sent across. Okay. And when you create this ownership, it becomes easier for you in the long run. Okay. You will gain credibility, you will have better impact in the organization. All those things will be very important. Then you have offer complete and relevant information. That's what we covered in principle of completeness. When I'm giving information, kindly ensure the complete information is being provided. For example, it is not enough just to say that the receiver register will remain closed from 20th to 30th March. It does not become clear to the receiver which register we are talking about and why it is being closed. So what are registers? Registers are basically, we have a lot of registers in a company. In that, shareholder register is one important document. Okay, shareholder register will generally be remained closed in order to identify if it is a public listed company. Shares will be traded more oftenly. Okay, you will study this in your inter and final. Okay. So there we will teach you when it will be closed, why it needs to be closed, to identify how many shareholders are there, and to whom the dividend needs to be paid. Okay. For calculation of this, we keep the registers closed. So instead of saying registers here, if I say the shareholder register will remain closed from the 28th to 30th of March during the business hours, and any transactions happening during this time will not be considered in taking a list of members applicable for whom dividend is applicable. Okay, dividend is payable. So if I want to do that, if I give a particular clear information, it will become easier for all my members to understand rather than saying register. The register can be register of charges or register of in any other registers. Okay, so instead of that, if I keep it very clear that shareholder register will be closed, it will be more complete and relevant. Okay, so kindly ensure to give complete information. Then obtain feedback. So once the information is being sent across, kindly ensure feedback is being taken for the information what is being sent. Think about the recipient. I have explained this already. Think about the you-centered impact. That is, if I am writing a message, I shouldn't think about myself. I have to think about the other person, how they will understand. Based on their level of understanding, I have to write my message or explain or communicate my message in a way that they will understand. Verbal and non-verbal congruence. So here we just speak about not just the verbal impact, but also non-verbal. Non-verbal is facial expressions, body language. Okay, we will explain what are non-verbal methods and what are the different ways also in the coming things. So there I will cover this non-verbal and verbal. Okay, then you have repeat if necessary. If information is required, if the receiver is not able to understand in your verbal communication, doing a oral communication. Okay, in oral communication, if my receiver is not able to understand, then kindly repeat the information so that it's clear for them and they can take proper action. Okay, then do not judge. If my receiver asks for any better understanding, okay, do not judge them. Oh, this person, they can't understand, they are not able to interpret the information. So don't try to judge your receiver, or don't try to judge your sender. Okay, so both are trying to express information, so don't try to judge one another. Oh, this person is not doing this person is not doing it clearly, we are not able to understand. Okay, because even either of them, like be it the receiver or be it the sender, both will have certain constraints. Okay, you will not be, being a receiver, you will not know what is the constraints of a sender. Being a sender, you will not know what is the constraint of a receiver. So try to understand the break even point and try to receive the information what is being sent across. Okay, rely on the facts what's being given to you. Don't get lost. Okay, rely on the facts what's being given to you. Like consider that's the 100% information. Based on the information, the receiver, the sender can start interpreting. Okay, these are the facts with relation to, apart from the 7 C's, additionally what are the information required in order to have effective communication. Then we have a concept called as Johari window. So here what we are going to understand is, just like your SWOT analysis and all these analysis what we have in business communication, they have concentrated on one concept called as Johari window. So in this Johari window, it was being developed by Joseph Luft and Harry Inham. Okay, so these were the two people who came up with a concept called as Johari window. In this concept, what they did, they made it as 4 different quadrants. So what are these 4 different quadrants? It is called as arena, facade, blind spot, unknown. Okay, so here what is going to happen is Johari window, known to others, known to self. No, this is actually, there is a printing mistake when you are taking the textbook. Kindly note this: not known to self, not known to others, not known to self. Okay, the concept is known to others, known to self. This is known only to me, but it is known to others also. It is not known to me, it is not known to others also. I'll repeat once again: known to self, it is known to me; known to others, it is known to others also. That is public at large. Not known to self, I don't know; not known to others also. Okay, so if there is a concept where it is known to self but known to others also, it is called as arena or open quadrant. Okay, open quadrant means it is an information which is known to me and it is known to others also. Now lockdown is being implemented, so I know it is, even I know it, even public at large know it. Okay, if that is the case, it is open arena. The next one is known to self, not known to others. That is, I know the information, but others don't know. Let's say I belong to the central government now. Okay, central government would have given information to all the ministers. Let's say So they would have told till 30th of June the operations will happen like this. Okay, but public at large don't know this. Okay, only the ministers will be knowing this. If that is the case, it is known to self, not known to public at large. It is called as facade. Okay, facade. Then you have not known to self, even I don't know, but others know it. Okay, it is a situation where I don't know what it is, but many people in public know it. The information, I have not studied the newspaper, or I have not studied the what do you call news, or I have not heard the news, or something like that. If it happens, it is being issued in the public saying that till, for example, let's say till 16th of June, it is a lockdown. Okay, but I didn't read the news, so I don't know what it is. If somebody comes and tells, I'll be blank. Okay, I don't know what is this. Is it really? Yeah, didn't you read the news? If they ask you, okay, then that is called as not known to self, but known to others. If that is the case, I am in a blind spot. That is, I don't know, but others know the information. Then you have not known to self, not known to others. This is called as unknown. Others also didn't know, I also didn't know, but we started interpreting, and after interpreting, we came to a decision. Okay, from here, the information will move to this information. That is, I didn't know, others also didn't know. We were in this place. Okay, we started interpreting and understanding the information. Once we interpreted and understood the information, from here we move to this quadrant. In this quadrant, what it will become, it is known to me also, it is known to others also. Okay, I will explain this once again. Kindly hold on. The first quadrant, that is open arena, that is known to self, known to others. What happens here? Adjectives selected by both the participant and his or her peers are placed into the arena quadrant. So arena quadrant is nothing but open quadrant, that is I know, others also know. For example, this quadrant represents traits of participants of which both they and their peers are aware of. For example, I know my name, so do others. It may be called as open quadrant. So I know my name, others also know my name. What's my name? Okay. If that is the case, it's called as open quadrant. The next one will be hidden quadrant. In this hidden quadrant, what will happen? I will just go with this one. Okay. The example. The example here it says, as soon as I tell you, I love berry and cherry, Ben and Jerry's cherry Gracia flavored ice cream. I am effectively pulling the window shadow down, moving the information in facet quadrant and enlarging the arena quadrants area. Facet quadrant also called as hidden quadrant. So here, if you go to the this thing again here, so here what is happening? Facade is called as hidden. So here what happens is known to me. I like a particular flavor of ice cream. So when I go to a restaurant with all my colleagues here or my friends, here I would say this was known to me. I like a particular flavor. But here they ask me what is your favorite flavor. So when I say this information, what happens? It was known to myself. It was not known to others. But when I said that, what happened? It moved from this hidden quadrant to this quadrant, saying that it is known to me and it is also known to others now. Okay, so here my name was known to me, name was known to others. It was an open quadrant. Here I liked a particular flavor of ice cream. It was known only to me, it was not known to others. Once I declared that this is my particular flavor which I like, I move from this quadrant, I go to this particular quadrant where the information which flavor I like is known to me also, it is known to others also now. Okay, so from hidden quadrant it is moved to open quadrant. Then you have blind spot. Here what happens? We could be eating at a restaurant and I may have unknowingly gotten some food on my face. This information is in my blind spot quadrant because you cannot see you can see it, but I can't see it. So here what they are saying is, so we went to a restaurant, we are eating some food. So some food particle is being stuck on me. Okay, I can't see it myself, but others can see it. So that means not known to self, but known to others. Okay, So once I get to know the information and others also get to know the information will move from here to this. Even I got to know there is some food particle stuck on my face, and others also could see it. So once it was done, we corrected the we just corrected the information. So once the information is being corrected, it moves from blind spot to open spot. Okay. The next example what they give us, you may respond to my disclosure that I like Cherigaria by letting me know what your favorite ice cream is. Or, sorry, this I'm explaining the next one. I had to explain this one. Okay. For example, I may disclose a dream that I had, and as we both attempt to understand its significance, a new awareness may emerge, known to others, known to neither of us before the conversation took place. So here, what they are saying, we are in this quadrant. Okay. In this quadrant, what happened? I had a dream. Okay. I'm telling it to people at large. Even they don't know how to interpret it. Even I don't know how to interpret it. So we start into a discussion. So once we get into a discussion, we start understanding what is happening. So once we understand what is happening, so finally we are coming into a final answer. So once we come to the final answer, what happens? Even I know what the dream meant. Even others know what my dream meant. Okay, so it is very clear that if information is known to me and information is known to others, it is open information. If information is not known to me but information is known to others, it is in a blind spot. If I don't know the information but others also don't know the information, it is called as unknown. If I know the information but others don't know the information, it's called as hidden. So any of this quadrangle, if other people get to know, if I know the information, others also know the information, it will come to open quadrangle. I know the information, others also know the information, it will move to open quadrangle. If I don't know the information, others also don't know the information, but we start interpreting and we come to a conclusion, even then we move to open quadrangle. So it is very, very important in communication to ensure even I know the information, others also know the information in the right way, and we are always in the open quadrangle. Okay, so when you're in an open quadrangle, it becomes easy for us to achieve our organization goals. That's the main perspective of Johari Window, where they're trying to explain, keep it in open quadrangle, it becomes easier for us to have proper and effective business communication. Okay, so these are the concepts which we wanted to cover for the day. So yes, there is a mistake in this particular diagram. So it needs to be not known to others. Okay, this particular thing has to be called as not known to others. Fine. So these are the things. So after this, if you come across, they have given in this particular explanation what they wanted to do. In this, they have used 55 adjectives. This they won't ask it in your exam or anything. But just for your understanding, they have used 55 adjectives, and they have told whenever these adjectives are being used, okay, by all of them, if you are trying to be good and improve your communication skills, try to adapt all these things in order to be in an open quadrangle. That is, try to be able, try to be accepting, try to be adaptable, be bold, be brave, calm, caring, cheerful, clever, complex. Okay, they have given 55 adjectives, and they have told when you use all these adjectives, you will try to be in an open quadrangle, and it will be easier for you to start communication. Okay, so for this we complete for the class today, and the remaining parts I will take it up in your next class, that's on Wednesday. Okay, fine. So now we start with your queries for next 10 minutes. Okay, for the next 10 minutes, if you have any doubts, you can share it. Highlighted PDF, somebody is asked for an highlighted PDF. We can't share the highlighted PDF to everyone, but the PDF is available in ICSI website. Okay, you can go pick it up from there. Verbal and non-verbal communication I'll be taking up in my next class. So what is cutthroat competition? A competition, I have to sell a particular amount of information. Okay. I want to achieve a particular target. Okay. I want to achieve, let's say we are into Hyundai cars. We want to achieve 100 cars as sales. Okay. But there is also Honda, Maruti, and all these guys. So they are also coming up with new cars. So how is it possible for me to ensure that my car is being sold in the market than any other one? That is called as cutthroat competition. Okay. Then you have um, that is called as cutthroat competition. Then you have credibility. Somebody has asked, what is credibility of sender? Credibility of sender means the sender slowly builds up a reputation in an organization. Okay, he sends across messages. He sends a return communication. The way he writes a mail. Okay, slowly when he gives the complete information and they work in an organization, it becomes easy for the receiver to rely on this particular sender. So when the receivers rely on the sender, it's called as credibility. So I'm gaining certain things called as credibility. That will be called as credibility of a sender, which we have to gain slowly. Okay. The lectures will be recorded by the headquarters and it will be shared across after we complete all the sessions. So kindly hold on. We have to wait for all the lectures to be completed. Okay. Only after that you will get across the information. Okay. Then Johari window. Okay. People are asking again for Johari window. See, Johari window is nothing but if you come across here, it is a simple concept. Just don't try to confuse anything. It is an information known to self, known to others will be open. Okay, open is called open. Then you have information not known to be but known to others will be called as blind spot. Information known to me, information known to others will be called as facade. Facade is nothing but open, sorry, not known to others will be called as facade. Facade is hidden. Then you have not known to self, not known to others will be called as unknown. Okay, facade is nothing but hidden. So if you arena is open. So if you come to the textbook here below, they will give you arena is open, facade is hidden. Okay, in the explanation given below, they have expressed this. Right. Then after this, extra MCQ questions we will not provide. It will be provided by the chapter in the MC mock test. Okay, so you can go and take your mock test. In that, you will receive all these information. Then you have the PDF is available in icsi.edu. Kindly go and check that. Or if you Google as CSEET Business Communication, it will be available. This class I was not able to provide. Next class I will try to provide you the link where the PDF is available. Okay. Then you have, so previous class information, they will share it to you once the classes are being done. The recordings will be shared. Uh, Please, business communication. Mm, So how does Open Arena help an organization? Yes, Open Arena will help an organization when the sender and the receiver both understand the information in the same pattern. Okay, so when the sender and the receiver are equal in the same information being shared, then it will be easier for me to achieve the organization goals. That's the perspective why we say Open Arena always helps, or the Open Quadrangle will always help in business organization. Okay, meaning of biased being one-sided is called as biased. Okay. Ma'am, please, personal asset in importance of communication. They have asked, what is personal asset? What is personal asset? I didn't understand your question. Ma'am, please explain process of communication. So process of communication will be sender, message, encode. okay, I'm gonna explain, that is what information I have to pass on an information. I gave you an example. In a college, the timing is being changed. The principal will draft the message. Okay, that is, I am the sender. If I'm the principal, I have a message, I'm gonna encode it by drafting a message. Then I will send it to the receiver. The receiver will read the message. That is, reading process is called as decoding. After reading the message, he will understand it. That's called as message being received. If there is any clarification, they will give a feedback. Okay, that is the process of communication. Decoding is nothing but reading. So they have asked what is encoding. Encoding is writing. Okay, decoding is reading. So when I write, I am passing on the information. When I read, I am receiving the information. That is called as decoding. Okay, and okay, people have pasted the same questions again and again. In features and importance, we have to learn all points. Yes, features, importance, and all these things, kindly learn and understand these concepts. Most of your questions will be on general basis. Okay, it won't be perspective. What are the importance, what are the features, kindly write down. We don't give you like that. This is all objective based, so kindly understand the concepts. That's more important. Okay. What is blind spot? Blind spot is something where I am not aware of, but others all know. That's what I told you. I go to a restaurant, I eat food, something is being stuck around my mouth. So if I don't know it, but others are able to see it, then it's called as blind spot. Okay. See, if you have any doubts with respect to your registration or how I'll get the a textbook and all these things, kindly ask your chapter. Okay, they will provide you whatever doubts you have with respect to the chapter or like subject. Please ask us. It will be easier for me. Okay, many people are asking about registration and all these things. That kindly check with your chapter, respective chapters. They will help you. Okay, where and for uh, what 55 adjectives are used or being held. So the 55 adjectives, what they have told is, if you try to develop all these adjectives, it will be easier for you as a receiver to fall into the open arena. So once you fall into the open arena in an organization, it will be easier for you to express the information what you have and create a credibility for your own self. Okay, for that perspective, it is very important for me to have all these 55 qualities. That's what they are trying to implement that. Okay. See, kindly don't repeat your questions. Send once. I can read it and send. So copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. It will be tough for us to read the same one, and we might leave out the others who are asking the important questions. Concreteness is nothing but being complete. Okay, the information what I want to send, I'm trying to be complete and being giving proper facts and figures. I'm not repeating around the bush. I'm giving the facts and figures. In this, it becomes easier for us. Okay, then please think of recipient. Yes, I have to think about the recipient and understand their perspective. Based on that, I have to answer the write the message or the communication method what I'm using. It shouldn't go with I perspective, it has to go with you perspective. I have to think about the recipient and then start with my communication. Okay. Okay, so most of the questions are copy paste, so it becomes difficult for us. Okay, fine. Kindly go through all these things and it will be easier for you. Okay. Then after that, we can go ahead with the next concepts. Okay. So for today, the class is being completed and we will meet you back by Wednesday. Okay, 7:30 to 9. Okay. Thank you. I just end the class now.